Welcome to a brand new episode of Cinema My Child and Me. Today we're going to be talking about a fantastic epic animation film called Kubo and the Two Strings. Director Travis Knight was hooked to the idea of a stop-motion samurai epic when he first heard his production studio Laika's production designer Shannon Tyndall talk about it. Even though Laika had never addressed the genre before, Knight decided to helm the project because of his love for epic fantasies and Japanese culture. Putting together research to determine the finer details of the overall treatment of the film, including the production design, story, dialogue, must have been backbreaking work, but the results speak for themselves. Kubo and the Two Strings is an enjoyable ride, which is also smart, funny, and meaningful. The film follows our titular young samurai hero as he is forced to set off on a journey to discover his past. Along the way, he finds unusual companions who make his journey easier by helping put together pieces of the puzzle that is his life. The film is a masterclass in stop-motion animation, right from the epic opening scene to the climactic fight and the tender and humane resolution that follows. Kubo and the Two Strings has some frightening bits which may require parental guidance for kids below about 8 years of age. Please take a call on this, as you know how sensitive your kids may be to certain kinds of scary scenes. There's no gore, no bloodshed, no violence involved, but there are monsters and there are bad storms and the like. This film, nominated for the Best Animation Feature at the Oscars and winner in the same category at BAFTA, is available on Amazon Prime Video and Netflix in various regions. It is also available on YouTube. Abhinav, take us through some of the quick impressions that you had about the film.
You've used the word epic, epic, epic. It's an enrapturing story of epic proportions. We are thrown headlong into the story with the first sentence spoken and the first scene that opens. The universe is quickly established and continues throughout. As the first sequence ends, you're left gasping for breath and left wanting for more. We've always held the belief that animation is the father of all cinema, even though the technology arrived a little later. Animation is the stuff our dreams are made up of, our nightmares are constructed in. And this movie combines the ideas phenomenally well. A truly engrossing piece of art and entertainment that proves how cinema was born in the cave arts of prehistoric men, and that animation is not a children's game, it's a human medium.
I, for one, was really taken by the quality of animation. The opening scene that both of us are constantly talking about and referring to, it's actually setting the tone for what to expect. And there is that certain part that comes in around 10 minutes into the film, which I'll be talking about when I come to our favorite scenes bit. It hooked me from the word go. I was so captivated by what was happening on screen and I just couldn't get enough of it. I also like the fact that this story draws from several other popular stories. There's the Harry Potter element where you can look at people being converted into Horcruxes, but with some positive effect sometimes. There are eyes inside a water body that are trying to lure Kubo deeper into the ocean. There is that reference to Cinderella where Kubo cannot stay out late in the evening and he has to come back home once the sun sets. There is a reference to Arabian Nights where he cannot complete a story because he doesn't know it, but all the same it keeps his listeners coming back every day because they want to hear the end of the story. Also, the very first scene has a small bit which reminds me of the story of Moses and how he parted the Red Sea. There's also, when he collects his unusual companions along his journey, it reminded me a little bit of Dorothy and her companions in The Wizard of Oz.
In fact, as you're mentioning this, Shibangi, it's very interesting that they always end up telling us there's nothing original. There are only 7 stories in the world. It's very interesting how a new story is created, which is based on so many old stories, but is not ripping off a single one of them. You can see the references, you can see the influences, but you can definitely say that this is original by itself.
Exactly. And what is most interesting is this is an all-American crew. which has so beautifully understood the Japanese folklore and Japanese traditions and culture, and has created a universe that is absolutely believable in spite of the influences that we are talking about, in spite of them being very Western or Middle Eastern in a sense. I really believe that this is a truly original work. Exactly like you said, I still believe it should inspire storytellers to tell original stories. We would also like to hear from you what you like about our podcast and what we can do better. Please write to us on any of our social media accounts and we would love to hear from you. So long, have a great time watching Kubo and the Two Strings, and think of us when you do. We hope you have a wonderful time.
As our guitar gently weeps, happy watching.